Boom! What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. Today we're gonna be taking a look at a brewery that kind of has a special place in my heart. I don't know, because I'm so close to being able to give beers from these guys, and technically still so far away because they don't distribute to Illinois. Because this is a brewery that only distributes and has their beers available in Wisconsin. So, like, the only way you can get your hands on any stuff from this brewery is either going there yourself or having somebody who lives in the state of Wisconsin to be able to pick up stuff for you. So it's a really cool situation. They have a lot of great beers. Of course, they're best known for probably one of my favorite beers of all time. With, like, actually, yeah, probably one of the my favorite beers of all time when it comes to, like, a sessionable, like, I want to drink a shit ton of these kind of beers with Spotted Cow. But they had this one come out. I believe it was usually like a winter release just because of its high IBU rating, all that stuff. It was definitely more of their, like, hoppier, freaking Hoppy Bite dank IPAs, and this is the one that they kind of made more readily available, which I'm pretty excited because they had a lot of requests for it. And we're going to be taking a look at the Scream Double IPA from New Glarus Brewing Company this afternoon. And just looking at the bottle, seeing the murky haziness coming from the beer, kind of gives me like a Ghost in the Machine kind of vibe from the color, looking at it from the bottle, because it has that nice kind of hazy look to it already. And it's going to be murky, it's going to be dank, it's going to be very, very hoppy. They average about, I think, 4 pounds of hops per barrel when it comes to this beer. And plus, with them using specific beers, like specific hops that they actually grow hops on site on the New Glarus, like, campus, I guess you could say. So they use a hop that they grow themselves along with Wisconsin-sourced other hops that to make this beer absolutely fantastic, which I've had this one before. It's been a minute since I've had it, but I'm always a big fan of it. And I'm glad whenever it releases, but I want to do a review for you guys, just to kind of give you guys my thoughts on it a little bit, and just kind of give you guys a Wisconsin beer that's like, I know it's weird knowing that you can't find a distributor to get the stuff, but if you're ever in the state of Wisconsin, this is a brewery that it's always like a go-to kind of situation where it's like, whenever you're in Wisconsin, you need to pick up at least one kind of beer from New Glarus. It's just how it is. So without further ado, let's crack this guy open. It comes in at a whopping 9% ABV, so it's definitely up there on the ABV for sure. And yeah, let's open this guy. Let's see what it's like on the smell. I'm excited because I absolutely love this beer. Oh yeah, right off the bat, you kind of get like a nice hoppy note. Definitely gets that like bitter hoppiness to it. So I'm gonna try to guess. I don't want to say the guess of what kind of hops are in here because I'm probably not gonna get it correct. But just like having the hoppiness, maybe what kind of profile I'm getting. If it's gonna be citrusy, if it's gonna be melony, or kind of having like berry notes to it, or if it's gonna be that dank kind of grassy, freaking like cannabis-like notes in there. But I'm expecting with such a high IBU rating that's just gonna be kind of reminds me a little bit of Lagunitas when they come out with their Waldo special. It's a very, very high IBU rating on there, and it's just very hoppy, very dank, and just having so many like cannabis-like characteristics to it that's just absolutely delicious. Definitely getting that really nice malty, hoppy smell in there. I don't know, for some reason, whenever I smell something out of a bottle, it's a little bit different of a smell you get. So without further ado, let's pour this guy. Drink it out of my untapped pint glass this afternoon. Let's see how this guy pours. Expecting a nice kind of haze to this one. I don't know if it's going to be as like bright citrusy looking, like orange juice, like almost like Ghost in the Machine has, but this definitely has a murkiness to it. Has a little bit of like a white soft head to it. Might be some lacing, but yeah, you could definitely tell this is a kind of that darker, hazier IPA, but it smells, yeah, it's absolutely delicious. Yeah, so Sewer Rug, if you're looking for anything from New Glarus, you can find it pretty much anywhere in Wisconsin. Pretty much New Glarus is, I want to say it's like the top craft brewery when it comes to Wisconsin, besides Leinenkugel, because I still consider Leinenkugel craft. If you disagree with me, that's fine. But yeah, this smells absolutely delicious. Definitely getting that hoppy, a little bit of like a citrusy note to it. Maybe like a slight Yule melon kind of bitterness to there. So I'm expecting maybe some melony kind of notes. But without further ado, let's drink this guy. So cheers, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Oh yeah, right off the bat, you get that nice hoppy bite up front. Kind of just makes you feel it all in your jowls, all that kind of stuff. Definitely has that more of like that dank hoppy characteristic to it, to where you would something that you would get characterized with cannabis and all that stuff, just because the bitterness is there like up front. It has like that kind of tingle that leaves on your tongue. Definitely has like a nice warmthness that kind of coats your mouth. It's definitely more of an oily mouthfeel, I would say, instead of like a juicy kind of pillowy soft mouthfeel. But yeah, getting slight notes of citrus. I would say mostly predominantly like the hops has like a very predominant like malty Yule melon kind of thing. It's a bitter melon kind of situation. Oh yeah, hey Dad. My dad's in chat, don't mind him. But yeah, it's very, very nice. It's very hoppy. It has a really, really high IBU rating. Not as high as like a Waldo special where it would be like 100 plus IBUs, but this one is definitely like, I think it's like 85 IBUs. So pretty high on the IBU rating, so you know this is going to give you a very, very nice hoppy bite. And if you're a hophead, this is definitely one of the beers that I suggest you have in once in your life, because it's like in the same category as like the Waldo Special Ale, where it's like 100 plus IBUs. The Ghost in the Machine from Parrish is always one of those ones to where there's like a handful of beers that I suggest for people that are a big fan of hops, like a bunch of people in chat right now, and this is definitely on my list for one of those. Because it's delicious. Absolutely delicious. So, looking here, before we read the description of this one and kind of figure out what other people are rating this, let's see what they could Untapped considers similar beers to this. Since it's only distributed in Wisconsin, you most likely will not be able to get your hands on this unless you know somebody in Wisconsin or you live in Wisconsin yourself. So, what they have on here is similar beers. They got the Bell's Two-Hearted Ale, which is like their 7% Centennial hop, like North Pacific Northwest IPA, which is pretty good. Let's see, we got one from Carbon Brewing, which is the Fantasy Factory, and then we got one from Round Man Brewing Co., with Smoke in the IPA. I see what they did there. Let's see what that one is. So that's a lower rated. That's probably more of like a smokier kind of IPA. Definitely, I don't know what kind. I would probably put that one on the same realm as this. We got the Big BOTMS from Eagle Park. It's their milk. It's like an imperial version of their milkshake IPA with blood orange, tangerine, mandarin, and lactose and vanilla. I don't know if that would be similar to this one at all, but let's see. Full Contact from Elysian is on there. So, actually, yeah, I'd probably do the Full Contact to be the most similar one. It's the closest to the ABV. It's an 8.8, has a 60 IBU rating, so it's not going to be as much of a hoppy bite, but you're definitely going to get that similar characteristics of this nothing but hops and dank cannabis-like notes in your face, and it's just very, very nice. Almost has like an earthiness to it, to where it's like you're walking through a piney forest kind of situation. You smell the pine, you get the forest floor kind of feel to it. But yeah, overall, yeah, this is always going to be a delicious one to me. I absolutely love it. Decent amount of lacing on the side, not too much. Definitely even that kind of thing. But now that I drink more of it, getting like a slight citrus. I don't know, maybe it's like I would say it's more of like a grapefruit citrusiness. But yeah, I think this is an absolutely fantastic beer. And I know, looking on Untappd here, I have plenty of friends that have checked this one in multiple times. My dad's one of them. He's checked this in twice. Let's see, I have a couple cousins who've checked this in. My dad's actually checked this in 3 times because he likes it that much. And then we got somebody else, my friends. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6, 7, 8, 9 times. So obviously this person's a really big fan. So yeah, a lot of people on my friends list are a fan of this one. But let's go to the global ratings here and kind of see what other people are giving this one. So before I give you like the average scale and all that stuff, let's read this description. So, Scream pierces reality, effortlessly slicing our sky. He flies over the brewery just as Abe circled over Wisconsin's 8th Infantry during the Civil War. He calls us to something bigger. Scream boasts an inspired 85 IBUs that reverberate cleanly through this double IPA. New Glarus Brewery grown estate hops join other Wisconsin-grown hops to dominate the brew from kettle boil to dry hopping. You hold a deceptively seductive original gravity of 20.9 degrees. Wow, that's a very high gravity. So, given that right there, when we usually do our gravities over at the brewery we work at, we're probably definitely not that high a gravity for sure. So I would say our gravity is kind of almost cut in half from that. So knowing that this has a very high gravity to it, and that's pretty damn cool. Let's see. So gravity of 20.9 degrees Plato, following the always 100% naturally bottle conditioned fermentation. Luscious Wisconsin grown and malted barley, along with English Maris otter malt, is the bold heart of this lustful sensory enhancement. Surrender is inevitable. So enjoy today. So yeah, very in-depth description, like it says on the bottle right here. There's about 4 pounds of hops that goes into each barrel of this. So when they're brewing it, their barrel system that they use to boil and all that kind of stuff, 4 pounds of hops goes into each one. So you already know you're going to get a very, very significant amount of hoppiness to this, which I really, really enjoy. So let's look here. So, like I said before, 9% ABV. Not really sessionable in my opinion. After a couple of these, you're definitely going to be feeling it. 85 IBUs, so if you're not really a hoppy kind of enjoyer, this is probably not going to be for you. If you're not a hoppy IPA or like any IPA person, this is probably going to steer you in the wrong direction. But with over 36,036 rating, this one has an average rating of 4.08 out of 5, which is pretty damn amazing in my opinion. Because 36,000 and having that average of a 4, that's hard to do. Very, very hard to do. And for being such a widely available beer during the state of Wisconsin, that just shows the kind of standards that they're living up to and the kind of beer they're coming out with over at New Glarus. So, looking here, let's see if other people check this one at. So this guy gave it a 4. Let's see, we got a 4.25. This guy didn't get a rating, but it says nice beer, thank you to whoever gave it to him. Let's see, we got another 4. We got a 4.5. Let's see, great to revisit this beast. Seems this time showing a bit more haze, but the same beautiful sharp bitterness. Yeah, which I think that's where I'm going to leave it. I think that bitterness is coming from the hops that brings off like more of a Yule melon kind of flavor, because a Yule melon is definitely more of that bitter melon kind of flavor you'd get. So if you're not more into like that melony bitterness, this might not be one for you, but there's definitely like notes of like a malty sweetness along with a slight kind of maybe grapefruity citrusiness. Not really that much of it, but it's definitely there enough to where you can notice it. This guy gave it a 4.25, saying this is definitely an underrated beer, which I definitely agree. Let's see, this guy gave it a 3.25. We got another 4.25. Somebody gave it a full 5 out of 5. Purchased at the Monroe Beverage Market over in Monroe, Wisconsin. Let's see. We got a 4.25 purchased at the Mars Cheese Castle, which if you haven't heard of the Mars Cheese Castle, it's definitely a popular destination driving through Wisconsin. It's pretty hard to miss. I know there's a bunch of different like cheese places in Wisconsin that I'm trying to think. I think Mars is the one that has it's either a mouse or a giant cheese wheel on it. I remember driving through Wisconsin a few times and seeing that, and I believe that's which one it is. So let's see. This guy gave it a 4.5, saying so good, and then we got another 4 out of 5. So yeah, very, very nice, very, very high ratings on this one. I think every one that I saw was a 4 and above, besides one that gave it a 3.25. But maybe he's not an IPA person, and that's fine. But overall, let's start thinking of what we're going to be doing for ratings on this one. So, looking at the bottle art, I mean, New Glarus doesn't really go out of their way to do anything kind of like out of the ordinary when it comes to making crazy bottle art or anything on their cans. It's very clean. It's very classy. It's stuff you would see with similarities to like stuff with Leinenkugels and all that. They don't let the labeling kind of speak for itself. They let the pretty much the reputation they've led with being New Glarus kind of, if you see anything New Glarus, you're going to try it. So they let their name speak for themselves and just kind of give it a nice clean label. You got they're talking about in the description, talking about the eagle. So you got the eagle on there saying Scream. It's very clean, very classy. I like that kind of almost kind of cardboard paper kind of label they have. Has a nice texture to it. And whenever I see anything from New Glarus in like a liquor store or bottle shop, it's automatically going to be something that catches my eye, because it's a liquor store. It's a brewery that's kind of set a name for themselves to where if you see anything New Glarus, you're probably most likely going to buy a 4-pack or a 6-pack of anything from them. So they've kind of set themselves to a higher standard almost when it comes to beer. And I think that's something great for something that readily available in the state of Wisconsin. Because I can see if they ever got to the point to where they distribute it out of the state, which most likely won't happen, they would be popular. They would probably be up in the ranks of Lagunitas or anything like that, or being like New Belgium. They definitely have that high availability, and I can see this being like in the ratings after maybe a year of being distributed throughout the country, up to like the 100,000 mark, to be honest, because this is a beer, and this is like a kind of a brewery that people will enjoy. I definitely enjoy most beers I've had from that brewery. I don't think I've had one that I was like, oh, I'm not really a fan of this. So keep that for what it is. But so let's see, for bottle art, for being what it is, I'll give it a solid 3.5 out of 5. It's nothing that really catches my wheelhouse for being like crazy cool and all that kind of stuff, but definitely having the New Glarus name on there definitely gives it brownie points just because it's New Glarus. So very, very nice. And let's see. I'm not sure if how they do it in the brewery and like all that stuff, but if I got this beer in a flight at New Glarus, would I get another one by itself? Is the real question. And I think you guys could probably already guess. Absolutely, I'd get a couple for it. This is definitely one of my favorites from New Glarus, the Scream Double IPA. And I would say my favorite is still the Spotted Cow, just because it's a very delicious, very sessionable farmhouse ale. It's just super crushable, and it's just absolutely fantastic. I always have I always try to get a couple 24 packs to bring home just to have them, because it's just one of those, like, when it's cold, it's perfectly refreshing, and it's just, so with this one, yeah, I'd definitely give, this is, for this, like, if you're a hophead, this is definitely a beer you need to try, I think, at least. So, with that being said, what's my final rating on this one going to be? To be honest, I'm a big fan. I'm going to give this one a very, very solid, between 8.75, almost a 9 out of 10. I'm probably going to leave it at the 8.75 kind of realm. There's some, like Ghost in the Machine, that I enjoy just slightly, a little bit more, just because it has that more predominant citrusy note when it comes to, has the same kind of color, it has the same kind of hoppy bite, almost. But with like beers like Ghost in the Machine, that kind of hoppy citrus thing is like some of like the things that I strive for when it comes to like such a high IPA. So, but this one's definitely up there. So I'd definitely leave it with the solid 8.75 for sure. Really, really delicious. So, if you can get your hands on this stuff, know somebody in Wisconsin, tell them to keep an eye out for the Scream Double IPA for you. I swear you will not be disappointed one bit. But other than that, that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you everybody again for tuning in. You guys are awesome. If you haven't already, please hit that like button along with that notice. That's wait, no, that's what the hell am I talking about? So yeah, hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. And if you're new to the channel and like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button too, along with that notification bell. It'll like give you a notification whenever I go live doing another review. Not sure what's going on with the rest of the week. You'll just kind of have to keep an eye out on my Instagram, see if I'm gonna be doing a review that day. But other than that, if you want to see a nice social media aspect of beer drinking, where you can see people like me, Wintucky, Ian's on there, Duchess, Sean and Lizzie of the Typhons, the Angry Hippies themselves. My dad's on there. I don't know if you want to add him. He's kind of a weirdo. But you could even add him if you see him checking and toasting any of my stuff. But yeah, if you want to shoot me a friend request on Untappd, the link to my profile is down in the description below for you guys if you want to check that out. It's always a great kind of little platform. You get to check in beers, get badges. They give a bunch of deals for like different beer subscription services all around the country and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really, really cool thing. Plus their merch store is really cool because you can pick up like a 5 set of different Untappd glasses, which I bought probably right when I was getting into this whole craft beer thing just because I wanted more beer glasses. So really cool availability on their merch store. They have glasses, koozies, shirts, hoodies, all that kind of stuff. So it's a really, really cool platform over there. But other than that, that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to say this again. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You guys are awesome. And I'm going to say it like I always say it before we get the hell out of here. If you're going to drink, drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And I'll see you all next time. Cheers.